This is Neat and Mixed from Hops and Spirits.
We're here for our very first Neat Mixed flight night. We've done many podcasts, many flight nights, but this is the first with both just me and Brandon hosting. We have a special guest with us because we're actually live, so to speak, live to tape here at Log Still Distillery. We have the president and distiller, Wally Dant, with us. Wally, hey, thanks for being here.
Hey, glad you guys are here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, good to see you again. Yeah, good seeing you. Yeah.
Now it's been a while since we've talked. I think maybe a little over a year ago. I think a few things have changed for you guys since then. But before we get into all that, let you introduce yourself.
Wally Dant, and I'm the president, distiller, founder of Log Still Distilling.
And Brandon, who are you?
Your boy Brandon.
Your boy. And if you guys don't know, we do a little bit of Neat and Mixed reviews, and we're branching out a little bit. And with the flight night, we're going to go to our first pour, which is the barrel aged gin, I believe. Is that right? So what do we got here with this one?
So what you have before you is our barrel finished gin, and so this gin is actually, from a botanical perspective, different than our dry gin that we have out there. We actually aged this 6 months in a wheated bourbon barrel of ours. So we take that leftover bourbon barrel after we've dumped it, put our gin in there, and put this barrel finished gin in there, age it for 6 months. And so what you will see and feel on this gin, and for those of you that love gin, you'll like this. For those of you that don't like gin, you'll like it. The intent behind this barrel finished gin was to introduce maybe non-gin drinkers into the category.
Okay.
And so, a lot of people get turned off by that juniper, what they sometimes call piney smell that you generally get from a gin because there's juniper berries in it.
Right.
Well, in that aging process, what happens is while you may smell it on the nose, you will not taste it long on the palate because of what that barrel does to that juniper berry. It really kind of, I could say, soften it out, rounds the edges off.
That is definitely unique.
It's a very unique smell. Very, like you said, very piney. But yeah.
Take a sip. Let me know what you think.
That is not what I was expecting with the gin.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's in a good way, like you were talking about.
No.
It's like what you would, like you said, it's kind of something that a bourbon drinker would maybe work their way into.
Yeah, and that was the real intent of mine in creating this gin. Because I love gin, right? And I want to make everybody a gin drinker at some point in time, as well as, of course, bourbon. But it was really for those, that used to drink their dad's stuff at home when they were a teenager and got sicker than shit on it. It was, and never to come back to it again was, hey, please come back to it because here we've done something different. And so you get residual sugars that are coming out of that barrel, right? So it makes it a little softer, creamier, and then you get all of the vanillas. You get a lot of the cinnamons that are coming out of that barrel, infusing itself into that gin, and we just think it's a great expression of a gin. The fun things that we do with this from a cocktail perspective is actually we replace traditional bourbon drinks with this gin because of the smokiness that you get out of that from that barrel. So like an old fashioned, we actually do a gin old fashioned with that.
Ooh,
and it's just a new twist on an old cocktail.
I could see that because I get a sweetness from this.
Oh yeah,
like a really good, nice sweetness from it, and again the smokiness, like you said, from the bourbon barrel.
And it's not overly.
No, it's not. It's very,
like you said, it's not a typical gin.
No.
So if you're expecting that, you're going to be in for
right.
And for a rude awakening. And when you think about like Monk's Road and the names that you guys have here, because I know that's one of your main lines here. Where did that name come from?
So depending on which way you came in,
we did,
right?
Yeah,
we did drive in from Monk's Road on Monk's Road.
On Monk's Road, right? And so
simple as that.
Well, it's about as simple as that. But the better story for our name on that brand is our family. There's a monastery that's about a mile down the road.
So you were correct, Brandon. You were correct as we drove by it.
You passed it, right? And so that land, they built that monastery in the 1840s.
Oh wow!
But the land that the monastery is built on was actually donated by the Dant family, and so they actually donated it to a group of sisters to build a girls' school first, because most, back in the 1820s or so, women weren't being as well educated as boys were, and so my family gave it to the sisters so they could build a school for girls, and eventually they turned it over to the monks that are there today. But so when you're looking for brand names, you're looking for that. I am anyway, looking for that tie-in into our sense of place, because this is we're sitting on an old distillery property that my family owned, and so we really wanted that sense of place to get into our brands as well.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And you talk about, like, obviously, it's a family tradition within the family. How did the idea come about to open up a distillery with your cousins Lynn and Charles, and like, talk to us about all that, how that just even come about?
Well, we grew up around it, right? I mean, for all practical purposes, and this is a God's honest truth.
Yeah.
My teeth were cut on
Oh,
bourbon. Right?
yeah.
And Mom used it
Back when they were allowed to do that, right?
Well, even my children we used it. And then I took a shot myself and felt a lot better in terms of putting up with crying. But we were all around that and grew up in that. My great grandfather owned this distillery. My great great uncle owned it before him, before Prohibition. So this place, and my dad grew up in that little white house that you're looking at across the way.
Oh, wow.
And so this place was a part of our family, and while it wasn't a part of the financial side of the family, it was certainly a part of our history. And so with Will Dant being there, JB Dant being a part of it, we all said, well, why did the family sell off the numerous brands that they had and numerous companies that they had, and why my grandfather was the last one to retire in that business, which is 1974.
Right.
And so all of us were looking at each other at every reunion we ever had and said, wow, wouldn't it be cool to do this again? And so ultimately I had the means and the ability to go, okay, well, it's now or never for me, so let's try it. And so here we are, and asked Lynn to come back because she's smarter than hell. She's a chemical engineer and a Wharton grad, and so she knows what the hell she's doing around the whole processing end of things. Because bourbon, at the end of the day, there's a lot of art to it, there's a lot of science in that processing piece of it.
Absolutely.
So she's great on that end. Charles grew up here. His grandfather on his mom's side worked at the distillery, and so we all kind of felt that coming together as cousins and parting on our own new venture here was be a cool thing to do.
That's awesome.
And then settling on Log Still for the name.
Yeah, so a lot of pioneer distillers in Kentucky couldn't afford copper. Right?
Makes sense,
whether it was my family or other families that were here, a lot of them couldn't afford copper, and so they did the next best thing, which was use some frontier ingenuity, which was a hollowed out log with tubing going up through it, so it could produce alcohol. And so it was the way of either stacking them on top of each other or banding one together. That's how we said, okay, let's pay homage to that frontier ingenuity, and kind of what we're doing, which is that next generation distillery, which is Log Still and all of the things that you guys see around here today.
Paying homage to kind of the history that you guys have in Kentucky.
Yeah, absolutely.
Love it.
Awesome.
Do we want to go to the second one?
Yeah. Second pour.
Second pour.
All right.
What's up number two?
Speaking of homage to Kentucky, this is a Tennessee whiskey. So why?
What happened there?
So why Tennessee whiskey, right? One, I think Tennessee does a great job with whiskey as well. And so if anybody knows anything about Tennessee whiskeys, most of them are really bourbons that just go through a charcoal filter process, right? Having said that, I've lived in Tennessee for almost 22 years.
Because that's where you were living before you came up here to start all this, right?
I sure did. And 5 of my kids still are in Tennessee, and so it was a way for us to call out, a great Tennessee whiskey in a Kentucky distillery. And so this is a 94 proof little ditty from, we've got a contract distilled down in Tennessee for us, so we can call it Tennessee whiskey.
Nice.
It's gone through the Lincoln County process. It's quite frankly, it's one of my favorite go-tos. If I'm just going to do a little and I drink mine not with Coke,
Yes.
but
Well,
on the ice. On
Hey,
ice
how am I
every once in a
drinking
while.
today?
Take all
I'm
the
doing
shots.
okay today. I'm doing okay today. I'm
Take
doing
all the
okay.
shots at him. Wow.
That is
this
fair, though. That is fair.
This
This
is
is-
really good.
It smells
The
delicious.
smell got me right away. It's
Mhm.
my face didn't give
But
it
yeah,
away.
I saw the face.
Yeah.
We are not.
We're
We-
You're not good
expressive.
poker players, is that
Well,
right?
No,
poker we're okay,
oh,
but with this, we
we're-
tend to
okay,
give
all
it
right,
away.
all right.
If you watch the
very-
reviews,
we're very
our
expressive
initial
drinkers.
expressions are very telling.
Probably going to know where we stand before we even take a drink.
Especially if we both do a head tilt together at the
I
same
know,
time.
yeah, yeah. So you obviously talked about Monk's Road as the first initial one that but
Rattle
talk
Snap.
talk to us about the Rattle Snap. You know, where
So it's the same. It's the same thought process behind this. It was,
Yep.
you know, we're certainly into this sense of place and a little bit of history, and so Rattle and Snap was a pre-Civil War game of chance where you took dried out beans, put them in your hand, right, and so when you shake them, they rattle, right,
Yeah.
and then you snap your wrist like a game of craps. And wherever those beans land and whoever was making up the game was called Rattle and Snap. And so again, there's this place in Tennessee that was won in a game of chance called Rattle and Snap from what was then the governor of North Carolina. He lost land in Tennessee because Tennessee used to be a territory
Of Carolina,
North Carolina, and so he lost that land in Tennessee to this game of chance. And so again, it was
Sounds
a
like something
great
you'd
way.
do.
Huh?
Sounds like something you do.
I'd parlay it with something else.
Right.
I'd have probably lost South Carolina and
and
Florida
so,
too.
and then you kind of see that we kind of have our tagline on here, which is "Make your own luck," right? And so
Yeah.
it's a way for us to go, hey, for a Kentucky distiller to come out with a Tennessee whiskey is not unique. I mean, go ask Brown Forman how they do with Jack Daniels.
Right.
But a lot of them don't do that necessarily with some of the other distillers, and so we just really wanted to kind of call that out and be proud of where we are and where we came from.
That's a really cool story. Like
Yeah. I love that, and the
I
pour
love
is
that.
just as good.
Oh, it is.
The pour
It's
is
really
just as
good. Like it's fantastic. So
And that's about almost little less than 4.5 years of age.
okay.
And so obviously you got the Monk's Road and the Rattle and Snap. What's the ultimate goal as far as production? I mean, obviously Tennessee whiskey is going to stay down in Tennessee, but I know we're getting into Monk's Road bourbons here soon. Yeah. But I'm guessing the beautiful facility behind us is going to be producing a lot of that here soon.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, as it is,
we are, right?
but as you're laying
in
it
fact,
down.
we are. But
Yeah.
for our bourbon brands and our gins, we all produce them all here now. So we've got a gin still over there. We've certainly got the column still as well. We can produce around 22 to 24,000 barrels a year on the for the distillery, and that's on a 24/7 basis with that 24-inch column still. What's next on the horizon for these? We actually do what we call a limited series, which is the fourth pour you're going to taste, which is a Fifth District series.
Okay.
We're actually coming out with our high rye bourbon, what I call our staple brand. So it'll be the wheated mash bill, it'll be high rye bourbon and a rye Kentucky rye whiskey. So you won't see us do an Indiana rye, but we'll do a Kentucky rye. So a little more corn content on that because I like a little bit of a sweeter mix with my rye. But you'll see us come out with those in January, February, March sort of time.
So early 2024.
Yeah, and at the same price point, right? So, and what we've tried to do here with a lot of our brands is keep it affordable.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So many times you get a lot of bourbons out there that are in that $100 or plus price point particularly for craft. Because, we can't do it at scale at some of the big boys.
Yeah.
But we really, here we are in the middle of nowhere, Kentucky, and we wanted to make sure that our community come in and feel like they could pay, whether it's under 40 or around 45, 50 for the, either Tennessee whiskey or the bourbon brands, that they could feel good about that, walk home and then come back and buy another one, right? And so that was really, what we were trying to be intentional about.
Yeah. And I was going to say, you guys have been able to build that up, and is the ultimate goal to stay at the 25 1,000 barrel range, or do you have capacity for more? Hopefully down the road. What's
Yeah,
the
so we built our place to be bigger.
Yep.
And so we have capacity within the distillery today to expand. And, I'm a big believer in this bourbon train. I don't think
Yeah.
it's ending anytime soon.
Well, it's
whether
in your blood.
Well, it's in our blood, but even if you
figuratively and literally?
well, if you look at it, if you look at it domestically, we haven't met the demands yet. If you talk about all this allocated product that's out there, you're still not reaching everybody who wants it. And then you look overseas and you say, well, there's a big market overseas, and we should be taking advantage of that.
I was gonna say Japan, Australia, everywhere still loves a good pour. And
Right.
and shall we go to the third?
I'm all in.
He's all in. All right. So the third is our small batch. So we use our small batch is usually less than 50 barrels. This one is around 47 barrels or so. This is our wheated mash bill. And again, this is about 4.5 years of age.
And now, is this
Sitting
one
on
that
this.
you all made here, or
So this is contract distilled for us.
Okay.
Our big distillery has been running now for 15 months.
Okay.
Or so.
Okay.
So working on laying down stuff that will eventually be
these same things that you're tasting today, and so we had this contract distilled in Kentucky for us, just about an hour east of here in a little town called Danville. So for all of you folks that know what's in Danville, there's only one real distillery there.
Yep.
They helped us out.
Yep.
And great folks. I mean,
I was gonna say, if
that's
I know
awesome.
who it is, they're good people.
They're great people.
Yeah.
They're great people.
They are good people.
They've been fantastic for us, and so this is our mash bill that we.
Man, that's really good too. Now this is 94 proof.
94 proof.
Okay.
Yeah, we really wanted that
4 years.
That 4 years of age, that proof level, because we felt that was a nice proof level where you're trying to meet some customer expectations around proof level, particularly on a wheated mash bill, and we really wanted to kind of.
And how much wheat's in this that you're willing to say?
Over 20.
Over 20.
Okay.
I didn't want.
That's fair enough.
Specifics, but I knew wheated. This is, and it's funny because I think last time we did this one, wheated bourbons was not exactly where I was at yet.
Yeah.
Since then, I have come around and really.
Yeah, we brought you around.
You have,
Yeah.
and this is another one that's really good.
Yeah.
Smells wonderful.
Oh, it's
the smells.
It's really good.
The cool thing about this, just here recently, we were at Bourbon and Beyond, and we won. Fred Minnick's Ascot Award for People's Choice at Bourbon and Beyond. That's awesome. For our wheated product, and we were competing against a lot of bourbon brands there that day, and we felt really good about that. And then he did a blind taste himself, and trying to pick one. And we came in a close number one to Old Forester. Yeah. And so we feel really great about the fact that, he's tasting it up there, and, we're all trying to figure out, well, which one was ours? and so when he got down to the final two, he selected the Old Forester, but he said close second was ours. And so it was cool to have Fred, kind of give us a thumbs up endorsement.
I was going to say that
this is good.
The color on this is pretty impressive for 4, and it's super smooth. That is about as smooth of.
As you can tell, almost
especially for 94 proof. I mean, as you're working your way up to I know 100 to 105 is probably more of our sweet spot, but that's
a solid spot.
Yeah,
for sure. Talk to us about what do you have planned coming up here on the grounds? I know you got Dant Crossing. If you want to talk to us about that and what.
we're here for a concert too. There's
we're here
a pretty
for a
cool
concert.
thing behind us. It's going to happen later tonight.
Yeah, obviously the amp.
Yeah, so we're almost in this process of kind of rebranding everything to Log Still, because we've caused, quite frankly, a lot of confusion around what the hell is Dant Crossing and what the hell is Log Still. And while we thought it was originally a good concept, I think what we've come to realize is that calling yourself too many things causes a little bit of mass confusion. Yeah. And so we've cut all that back, and we're just simply saying, hey, we're Log Still.
Right.
Come to us. We've got the amphitheater. We've got 6 bed and breakfasts. We've got a restaurant in the making.
Yep.
We've got an event and conference center. We've got the distillery. We've got a walking trail and a fully stocked lake.
Oh, nice.
We've got a train that
So
comes
the-
here.
So yeah, you were right. The train. Yeah, he was like, I swear they said a
thought,
train.
I thought there's a train.
Did the train come and drop people off today?
No, I don't think we did it tonight.
You
Yeah,
don't think so? Okay, all right.
yeah. I thought
But
that-
generally,
yeah.
like tonight, we've got actually called a supper series where before the show, we actually put on what we call supper
Right.
down in the south.
Yeah.
And because everybody says, "Well, it's dinner."
No,
that's
it's
lunch.
No, that's lunch. Yeah. Supper.
But supper, and so we actually do that.
So
A lot of
that's
times
awesome.
we actually take the train. That folks take the train in.
Yeah.
We bus them up to our event conference center where they get to eat, and then they can either go back on the train or
Right.
stay for a show.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say the supper series. I think you have one tonight before Christiansen. Why was that something you wanted to put on and kind of have as just another thing to kind of check out everything that's here?
Yeah, it's our way of, we are out in the middle of God's country out here, right?
It's
So
beautiful.
So we have,
But
Absolutely
we
beautiful,
lost cell service on the way in,
I'm
but
sure
it's
you
back.
did.
Well,
it's back.
we're good.
So we have no McDonald's, we have no any of the fast food joints, we have nothing like that, and the closest one
Right.
is 15 miles away in Bardstown, and so it was a way of saying, look, if you're going to come out, then one, feel like you can get a good meal here.
Right.
Our chef is fantastic. Was at Churchill Downs for 12 years, executive chef there, and
Nice.
he's worked in, works the Olympics. He knows how to do it on a large scale, and then he can bring it down to,
So
an intimate dinner for 5 or 6 at the the Heritage House, my dad's old house, and so he's really good at doing that, and so we're looking forward to when that restaurant opens to be able to get that same experience there as well for patrons that want to come in during the week or on the weekends.
yeah, and that's a cool concept because you are out in the middle of God's country. You can enjoy a concert. If you want to take a long, nice weekend with friends and family, you can stay on site. You can have a nice meal and just enjoy the area and and plenty of drinks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I was
love
going to say, and when's the restaurant hopefully opening up? I'm guessing early 2024 is the goal. I think I've heard,
Oh hell!
or whenever magically
No,
the stars align.
yeah. So
It's a tough business, restaurant business.
From a construction end of things,
Yeah.
we are still subject to COVID-related
Mm.
delays
Mhm.
and just things
Yep.
that you would never think of.
Right.
You're running short on.
Right.
We still run short on it. So we've been talking with some of the general contractors that we've actually put out for bid to finish the restaurant off.
Yeah.
And they all looked at me with eyes crossed when we said, "Hey, we'd love this up by Derby," and they're all like, "We don't think that's going to happen because of this, and this."
Right.
So
Sometime soon, sometime in the
June?
future, sometime in the future. I like that.
Yeah.
We'll say sometime in the future.
yeah, sometime in the future.
I like
Yeah.
that. I like that.
Well, I look forward to trying it. No,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm a big food guy.
Sorry, I was still finishing off
Yeah.
this board.
No,
it was good. Shall we go to 4?
4.
Because apparently you're going quicker than I am. I'm sorry.
No,
Oh, it ain't about that. It's just I'm excited to try it.
I'm slacking.
So number
this is the
4
new one.
is our 5th district series. So literally, we just came out with this about 4 weeks ago. This is a new release.
This is the second one.
This is a second in that 5th district series release. So this is an 8-year-old high rye bourbon that we actually finished in a toasted oak barrel. So we did that for a few weeks to really kind of infuse that 8-year-old with some caramels, cinnamons that you'll taste. We really wanted that flavor pop and a little bit of that nice long finish to come out of it. And Lynn created all this, so she give her all the credit
Well,
if you like it, and give me all the
You got
credit
the
if you don't.
You'll take all the heat if it's
I'll
in.
take it all. Yeah, it was Wally.
I know one thing, y'all have got the nose game figured out because
Yeah,
all
that's-
these just smell fantastic.
Well, and also different because obviously the Tennessee whiskey is going to have something different.
Right.
Exactly.
The wheated's going to be different than you said. This was a high rye,
High rye. Yep.
high rye. So I mean, but all very inviting. I always feel like on a show we should always be talking, but I'm like,
I know, but
I just wanted to enjoy the pour.
I know, right? Especially here.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. That's nice.
Hmm.
And how long was it in the toasted barrel for?
A few months.
A few months.
A few months.
I won't be specific because then I'll have my ass.
No, you don't have to be.
We don't want to
Is
get
it-
you in trouble. We don't want to get you in
I don't.
trouble.
I don't either. You don't.
You,
don't wanna
said
be
this
on my
is.
hot seat.
You said an 8 year, correct?
Yeah, 8
Yeah.
years.
100 proof.
Unproof.
Yep.
And
Like it.
now the 5th District Series name.
Uh-huh.
What does that pay? Homage to? Because I know your big history on a lot of things.
Oh yeah.
Monks Road is what we traveled in on.
Yep,
You got the Rattle Snaps, the game.
Right.
I'm guessing 5th District also has a little bit of history.
Central Kentucky was part of the 5th taxing district, government kind of designated areas.
Okay.
So like from just over the line in Marion County up through Louisville was called the 5th taxing district.
Okay.
And so we still pay taxes just like the old times used to pay taxes. But remember, if you guys know, there used to be a government office on every distillery.
Yep, that's how the
Right.
Bottle and Bond Act,
Yeah.
right?
That's right.
Yep.
And so the government always wanted to make sure it got paid and paid
Of course.
correctly,
Of
right?
course.
And so we what we try to do with the 5th District series is pay homage to all of the old distilleries that were particularly in this area that exist no more. And so the first one was Cold Spring Distillery, which it was on our property that we own just across the street over there, nestled into that hillside. And that was founded by J.B. Dant. And he's famous for the Yellowstone brand. So if you
Okay.
see that Yellowstone brand
Yep.
today, which
Stephen Beam and all them have, yeah.
Steve Beam
Yep.
and MGP,
Because they
have
found it
today.
out of his old yeast
Yeast
jug,
jug. Oh,
right?
yeah,
Yeah. They found his strain in the
Yeah,
old
oh,
yeast
yeah.
jug.
Yeah.
And
That's crazy,
I
by
know,
the
by the
way.
way,
Yeah.
minor case, who
Yeah.
he talks about,
Right.
actually owned this distillery at one point in time, pre-prohibition.
Really?
And
That's one of your favorite pours.
Yeah.
And
I
my
love
great,
Minor Case.
great uncle bought it from Minor Case. Right.
Wow.
So, and Steve and I are related through my dad's side,
Yeah.
and his along the line, his mother came out of a Dant, right? And so, and of course, mine did as well. And so,
Wow.
so we're
awesome.
we're related, and it's cool to kind of
Oh,
discover.
yeah.
And at the end of the day, I always say this to everybody around here, and they just give me a bunch of shit. I look and make sure I've got all my fingers and toes and not extra ones, because we're all related in this community, some way, shape, fashion, or form. The gene pool wasn't a whole big
Right.
thing. back
Right.
then.
Right.
Well, no matter what, it came out
Big
great.
ass
I know.
thing.
Yeah.
It produced some good bourbon, though.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
Is what it did.
It did, yeah.
And I like the high rye the finish on this one. And
Yeah, it's a long, nice, lingering
It is.
finish on that.
Yeah, because my go-to is rye.
Uh-huh.
Like I love. So is his,
Mhm.
but we're big rye guys. So I'm extremely excited for the new ryes that are going to be coming on. Yeah. Now is that going to be a different brand, or is it still a different name, or
No,
you got
it'll
any
come under
same?
this. It'll come under this Monks
Okay.
Road label, so
Okay.
it'll be a different colored label
Right.
associated with it.
Okay.
And most people that make a rye whiskey these days have
Okay.
a green label, so
Yeah.
I'm probably not going to buck that trend.
Right.
So
Yeah.
because it's
You're right.
Because
It's
you got
since
the
everybody's
nice
doing
brown
it,
on
right?
the
Yeah,
wheated,
that's
you
right.
got the
Yeah,
blue
associated, yeah.
on the 5th District. So I like that.
Now, speaking of brands, do you have any new brands on the horizon, or thinking about adding to the
Or is
to
it
the name?
just keeping it simple?
Keeping it simple right now?
So you have, and so then all this whole business marketing side of things.
Correct.
So once we've got these four that are sitting out here, we've got an 8-year-old Tennessee Expression that's in the tasting room that we sell as well.
Okay.
It's a nice little hornet size sort of
Yeah.
thing, isn't
Yeah,
it?
he was
And-
excited to be over here.
He's really excited.
He wanted
wants-
to
he
taste
wants
it.
a little bit of-
He wants to taste
Yeah,
it.
we'll see how long he ferments and that stuff. But so we've got that, and so you almost have to look at it from what we call a SKU perspective. How many SKUs you're going to have out there? So we'll have 2 others of this. We've got a dry gin, and so you need to be cognizant of
Of shelf space at
shelf
stores,
space at
and then what you
stores,
got to
and-
keep track of.
and then right. And having said that, we are what we call a house of brands, and so
Mhm.
you know, if there are other things that we think make sense for us and Log Still, then you'll see things
Yeah.
in the future. I think
Yeah.
around some whether it's expansion of these or maybe a different brand name
Yeah.
out there.
I like that
That's cool.
because I think
Yeah.
last time we talked, I asked you why you didn't name one of them Log Still, and it was, well, they're not good. I don't want to ruin the whole brand, which makes a ton of sense. But I think
Yeah.
you've got some pretty good products out here too.
Yeah. Very good products. Very good. Yeah.
And so
It's-
obviously too, as you're laying down stuff, I'm guessing the goal is to maybe be able to have more fun things down the road, some special releases that hit a different age and things like that.
There will be. I mean, Lynn is working on things now, experimenting. We got a little 50-gallon hybrid pot still that sits in that tasting room that, they're working on some different recipes,
Mhm.
and we can do that and then take it to the big production facility, kind of scale it up. But you can taste it immediately in that 50-gallon, and so it's a way of being able to scale up and not ruin 4,000 gallons of mash because all of a sudden you go, boy, that just tasted like shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now does Lynn let you do anything, or do you
Oh
have
hell
to stay?
no! So no. She just
I was wondering.
she
That's
just
the way
keeps-
this was
she
going.
keeps-
I was like,
she keeps me 2 steps behind her and says, "Watch."
Yeah.
you get to
That's
take
not
you,
exactly
you get
true,
to do
but-
you
Yeah,
get to
yeah,
do all
yeah,
this
yeah.
stuff
No,
though, right? You get to
that's
do
what you
this
get
while
to
she
do
gets to
this.
be in the behind
Yeah,
the
Yeah,
main,
yeah.
the lady behind the curtain that does all the fun
That's
stuff, right?
That's right.
That's awesome.
You got anything else, Brandon?
I'm good. I just listen. I'm happy to be here. This is a beautiful place. Thanks for having us.
Oh, yeah.
Love the products. I'm gonna have it. I've still got it on my shelf at home. So,
all right, fantastic.
but yeah, I
Well,
can't
you guys,
wait.
you're in for
Can't
a
wait.
treat tonight. It's going to be a
Can't wait.
wonderful show. Chris Jansen's here.
Yeah.
His opener for all of those TV fans that are out there. I think he was on Nashville.
Yep.
And
Whose line is it anyway?
Whose line is it anyway?
And what's the other one?
I can't remember.
Outer Banks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he was on Outer
See
Banks.
that?
Really, that's the one you
I
knew.
thought, yes. I swear he looked familiar because he was the
How old?
dad.
How
The
old?
dad.
How
The
old are you
dad.
watching
The
Outer
dad
Banks?
that was crazy and killed everybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't be giving away things.
Everybody loves Outer Banks. Come on, man. Come on. Like it's not no.
I didn't
secret
feel like
now.
it was aimed at your demographic though.
Huh?
I didn't think it was aimed at your demographic.
Netflix is my demographic.
Yeah, I was going to say. He's well-rounded.
Yes.
Yeah, he is.
Yes.
well-rounded.
Yes. Exactly.
No, but Wally, these have been awesome,
Yeah.
and we don't say that lightly. We
No,
we have enjoyed all the pours.
Mhm.
I'm not a big gin guy, and that was a very unique pour that I think you could get behind if you're a bourbon drinker. This has been a
Yeah.
pleasure, and we
Absolutely.
appreciate this, man.
All right.
Yeah.
No, thank you, John.
No,
Thank
thank you. Really, it's
No.
been a pleasure. We really appreciate it. And I'm not a gin guy at all. I don't even own gin, but I will buy that
All
one.
right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what he was hoping for. Bourbon guy
Yeah,
getting
because I'm gonna make old fashioned with it.
There you go. Actually, grab one of them tasting rooms.
Yeah.
We'll have to do
Absolutely,
that.
absolutely. Well, we appreciate it.
All right.
Thank
No,
you.
Thank you all.
Find more from Hops and Spirits at hopspirits.com.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.